So I was going to be doing a meeting for Miguel and Nellie one time, and it was going to be in Hialeah. And I get there, and it turns out that the regular people couldn't pick me up, and the other people couldn't pick me up. So I was picked up by somebody's grandfather who's like 85 years old and does not speak English a word. Not a problem. So anyway, he picks me up, and I'm driving through this neighborhood, and I'm thinking, this doesn't really look like a great place to be. So and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know about this, but it turns out I'm in like a Best Western hotel. So I'm figuring, how bad could a Best Western hotel be, right? So anyway, as I'm getting there, I'm waiting, oh man, they booked me the room. There's just no way they got me a AAA discount. And let me tell you something, when you stay in hotels as much as I do, the extra $5, $10, $15 a night helps. So I go in there prepared to ask for my AAA discount. I'm Eddie Freeman here to check in, and they told me the room was $49. I couldn't really ask for the discount. I haven't spent that kind of money in years. Okay, fine. So I'm wheeling my clothes. I'm in like a 9-day road trip, and I'm wheeling my 2 suitcases through the yard and the back and around. Finally, I get to my room. I open the door. The first thing I want to do is I want to hang up my suits. I want to hang up my sport jackets. I can't find the closet. I'm looking everywhere. I'm saying, this is crazy. So I called the front desk, and I said, excuse me, I can't find the closet. She said, we don't have any closets in your room. I said, well, can I at least get a better room? She said, you're in the better room. You know, so sometimes you get out of the shower, you wipe yourself, you get the little white fuzzies all over you. Didn't have to worry about that in this place. There was dish towels. Dish towels. But anyway, I love them, and thank you for being here. Well, our next speaker doesn't need an introduction. He is the mentor's mentor. And I can tell you right now, when I got involved in this company, that's a true story, that we were on the phone for hour after hour after hour. And you might say, well, maybe he did it for you, Eddie, because you made so much money in network marketing. No, that's not it. This guy, how many of you have ever been on the phone with Paul Morris? Just raise your hand. Look at the number of people that this man has touched. And I can tell you something right now. If you have never ever been in Paul Morris's downline in network marketing, chances are you've never done network marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, the mentor's mentor, co-founder, Paul Morris.
Wow, it's been a great weekend. Feels like we've been here a few days. Matter of fact, we spent a few days together yesterday, I think, by the time we started at the wee hours of the morning and went to the wee hours of the night, and you could tell who was there last night. All the ones at a horse today that were talking over the singer and the music and everything else. But what a blast! How many were there last night? What a blast that was! Wasn't that just a lot of fun? And just a chance to just visit with old friends and make some new friendships, and just to have that fellowship. And then we got blessed with a beautiful serenade by Shane. He took over the mic last night, blessed us with his singing, and that was a fun time. And I just thought, how exciting is this industry when we can just get together and have fun and make friendships to become long-term relationships. And I get up here tonight and my heart's so warm, and I just get blessed when I look out and I see people like Miriam and Alan Moss. They've been with us from almost day one, way back in the early days. And Greg Galley too, I see him back there, way back in the early days. Your faith, the commitment, your loyalty to us over all these years. And then Warren and Carrie Blue, and all the people's lives that you've blessed with the testimonial with your daughter, and how you've shared that, and trying to keep it compliant and still get the impact of it. But, and then Maureen and the testimony with your son Matthew, and how our products have benefited him. And as I hear all these stories and all these testimonials, I just realize that that's what we're all about. It's about changing lives. It's about inspiring people to begin their journey toward optimal wellness. And I don't think there's a greater blessing that you can share with anybody than to start them on that path toward the optimal wellness, when they can just experience health at its finest. And then there's so many of you that are, the old friends that are still just having faith in us and have been waiting for us to get everything just right so that they can bust loose and take us to that billion-dollar company and make all of their dreams come true. And Bernie and Barbara, and I love you because I think you're in my age category a little bit there. And I know you guys here, you say, you know what, you've been in this industry 48 years, you must be old. And I want to clarify something, I'm not old. I've just been around a long time. And it's been a long time, but it's been a beautiful, exciting time because of this industry. And it's given us the chance to make our dreams come true, and to give us the time in life to come back and reach out and touch other lives and inspire them to have their dreams come true like we've been blessed in our lives. And so when I look at all of you, and I just see that the faith and hope that you have in us, that inspires us to want to do our best to give you that track to run on. I would see Jim and Lisa, and you're showing up this week. I don't even know if you were coming on. When I saw you guys, my heart just flooded. I said, wow, look at there. Jimmy and Renee, I just, when I see them walk into the room, I said, oh my gosh, they're here, And you just all inspire me. And of course, Miguel and Nellie, you've just been such a blessing. Our anchor down there in Miami. And my new friend, Wes, we've been talking on the phone. I see online on Facebook, he's holding a meeting. I call him, I said, what's his number? I got to call the guy. And I call him, hey, Wes, hey, good luck in the meeting tonight. And he goes, well, I said, Paul Morrison called me. I said, yeah, man, I just want to wish you good luck for your meeting. And then to meet him and give him a big hug and finally meet him in person. And to me, that's what this industry is all about. It's relationships, just wonderful, beautiful, great relationships. And now I'm sitting there, I'm leaving people out, but Irish is such a blessing, and I just love when I get up in your area, and then of course you never miss an event. And we have new friends that are neighbors right down Sample Road. We got Dave and Madeline that just joined us recently, and again, kind of my age category. Now, I know all the emphasis these days is on the new millennials, people like Jackie, our new friend I met, she can bounce out, oh, hi, I know who you are. And Mike and all of you guys, as I meet you and get inspired, by your excitement over this business. It just is, it's just a blessing in my heart. It's a blessing in my heart. Of course, Joyce and Carol and Janie, all of you, and Christina, gosh, and we had all amazing, unbelievable women here. All right. Cheers for the unbelievable women. And Shannon, a new friend who pulled a fast one on me yesterday. Boy, did he get me. Mr. Ford. You'll tell that story, but he got me good on my knowing it. Actually, talking about knowing everybody, Gio says, you got to go over and meet this guy. He brought a new couple here tonight, and I want you to go meet him. As I walk over, I recognize him. And I knew he was a police officer. I said, am I under arrest? And he looks up and I said, hey, Richard Paul Morrison, how you doing? He said, how you doing? And he says, you really do know everybody. And he was right. But anyway, I'm going to run through a few little quick things, and I'm looking for a little clicker up here. I guess it's over there. We'll grab that here. And I just want to throw some bullet points for talking points, because some of you have heard our story, and you've known that we were, executive diamonds at Amway, and then we sold our Amway business and retired. And after having been retired within those years, we were in Amway, and got a home down the Virgin Islands, and we were just, traveling the world, having fun. And then we came out of retirement. We've set a few records in the industry. We did $1 million volume our second calendar month with one MLM company. And you go, how do you do that? And by the way, I got into Amway when I was 23 years old. That's when I got started in this industry. And I see young guys like Corey now, and just new baby and another one on the way and all that. And I think they've got the future ahead of them that I had for me that 48 years ago. But you have it with all the technology. We didn't even have fax machines. We didn't even have cell phones. We didn't have any of that. And so we've cut down the jungle, paved the highway so you guys can follow and make it simpler and easier for all of you. But I'm just going to go through a few quick little talking points here. And we're going to talk about, it was a book I wrote many years ago called The Mathematics of the Business. We've relabeled it How to Create Massive Duplication. Because some of you say, well, how do you do $1 million volume in a second month? By the way, after I did so much volume, I put them out of business. They couldn't handle all the growth. I joined another company with 50,000 people in 5 months, and they couldn't handle the growth and collapsed. So I joined another one, put in 68,000 in 6 months, took them to 10 million a month, and they collapsed, couldn't handle the growth. And then I joined another one. Finally, I just learned. I said, I just better go slowly so I don't run out of business. But as you hear these stories, these are all true stories. You know, matter of fact, I told one company, I said, you know, when my checks get to 50,000, can you send me 2 checks for 25,000? So why do you want to do that? I said, well, every time my checks get over 50,000, you guys go out of business. And that was a true story back in those days. They said, well, how'd you do it? How do you create such growth and take these companies to $10 million a month? Well, I'm going to share with you some of the basic things that I believe it takes to make that happen. We're going to talk about the function of addition. Addition is very simply when you bring in a new distributor. When you bring in that new distributor, whether it's a distributor or customer, you're adding. It's called personal enrolling, and you're adding them to your front line, your first level, the people that are in your enrollment tree. Yeah, they do spill down into your dual team, but they are people that you've personally enrolled. You're known as their enroller or their sponsor, depending on what network marketing background you have, what terminology you're most familiar with. But you enroll 4 people, each purchase a starter kit is the best way to get started. That's not just about selling products. You know, sometimes we get all hung up on what's this networking thing all about? It's telling your story and sharing your experiences. It's helping people see how they use products and benefit their health and wellness. And then it's that, you've heard it over and over all weekend, developing that relationship with people. Well, anyway, don't be shy. Just go out there and share them with everybody. Everyone in the world will benefit from our products and by using them. So anyway, you want to go out and help people get their first 4 new distributors as soon as possible. Those are your business builders. Not everybody's going to be a business builder, but I'll just expand on that a little bit more. The beautiful part about when you personally enroll people, you get 20% of the BV on their optional starter package. That can be a great source of earnings, is that 20% fast start bonus. So that's another reason to keep adding people to your organization. And those are what we call fast start earnings. Now, the 3rd and 4th recruits, they all spill over into your downline, and you earn 10% of the ones in your strong leg. That's just another additional way you can get earnings to your dual team. But I don't want to spend any time on this. I want to get right into the meat of this thing, and that is to talk about the fact that it's personal enrolling that you need to do for several reasons. Number one, it goes into your first level of enrollment tree. That's where you get all your director check bonuses. It's going to get you the fast start earnings, but that's going to earn you your biggest dollars for bringing in new people. Because out of those new people, 1 out of every so many is going to become your business builder. You know, not everybody who signs up is going to want to be a business builder. Not everyone who shows the plan is going to want to sign up. Some are going to want to become customers. So anyway, there's no limit to how many you can enroll. We don't stop. We say, oh, you only enroll 5 and stop. You want to go out and enroll as many new customers and members as you can, as long as you've got time to work with the ones that are business builders. Well, addition is personal recruiting. It's enrolling those new customers and new distributors, but I want to point out that it's an all the time, ongoing, for the rest of your life thing that you will always continue to do. And you do that to set the example for people. Because they're going to do what they see you do. Well, anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I want to talk about the difference between recruiting and sponsoring. Recruiting is kind of, well, sign up here, goodbye, good luck, see you later. And you leave them to struggle and die on their own. Sponsoring is when you develop a relationship with them. It's kind of like, it's like you establish that relationship. You bond with them, you connect with them, you find out, about their kids and their family life and their hobbies and their lifestyle, things like that, and you help them build their business. In a sense, you're accepting a certain amount of responsibility for their success. I call it responsibility. You're the sponsor. You're going to help them as much as possible in proportion to how much they're willing to help you. So, at least accept some responsibility of offering them what they need to know to succeed. And you do that by keeping them informed of meetings and new material, but it's always up to them to take at least some initiative. It's kind of like a game of checkers. You take a move, they take a move. You take a move, you go to a meeting for them. That's your move. Next move, they got to come to your weekly meeting or your monthly meeting or the next boot camp. You want to get some interaction from them. But you want to lead by example by always recruiting and adding to your front line. But I want to give you just a little example. I want to see how well, I know it's been a long weekend, we're all tired, but I want to see how good you are at staying synchronized. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask all of us, I'm going to count to 3, and then I'm going to say go, and I want all of us to clap in synchronicity. I don't want to hear, I want to hear just one big, so all we hear is one clap. Can we all get that well organized? Let me give the directions one more time. I'm gonna count to 3, and then I'm gonna say go, and then we're gonna all clap all at exactly the same time. Ready? All at exactly the same time, so we hear one big, huge, loud clap. Ready? Let me give the instructions one more time. I want to make sure you get them right. No, people just don't listen to these. I'm gonna count to 3. Say go, and we're all gonna clap so that we all clap simultaneously, synchronously, all at once, one big loud clap. Ready? 1. I usually get a few claps. You're a good crowd. All right, ready? Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, go! What'd you do? You did what you saw me do. You didn't do what you heard me say. And as a sponsor, you've got to not just, hey, you got to go recruit some more. Hey, you got to go recruit some more. Hey, you got to go get some customers. Hey, you got to go get some more customers. You've got to be showing them what to do. Why? Because they're not going to do what they hear you say. They're going to do what they see you do. Okay. Very important principle, particularly in network marketing. But, wrong direction. So anyway, we lead by example. And you show your distributors what they need to be doing by you doing it also. That's the best example you can set for them. The one-on-one presentation. One-on-one is when you make a presentation to a friend, a neighbor, a relative, a prospect, a lead, someone from an ad, or wherever you met them, or how you got a hold of them out of the paper, whatever. That's the one-on-one presentation. That's when you go to them or meet them somewhere and make a presentation. That's called one-on-one. And that's learning how to do a one-on-one is what's going to set you free. When you don't need your sponsor there leaning over your shoulder, doing it for you, helping you out. So that's what you want to get to as fast as you can. Now in the beginning, you've started by your sponsor doing two-on-ones. That your sponsor comes with you, they give the presentation, you're kind of watching, and then that's a two-on-one. But as soon as possible, don't let them do more than 3, 4 two-on-ones for you. You want to start doing your own one-on-ones as soon as possible. Now, you can do that with the Takachi app, you can do it with a laptop, you can do it on a lunch break, you can do it anywhere. And that's the beautiful part about the one-on-one presentation. Once you master that, and how many feel confident in just going out there, meeting somebody in the lobby, recruiting them, then coming back, and then meeting them somewhere and giving a one-on-one presentation? You should all, I'm not going to ask you, but every one of you should feel confident. If you don't, call your sponsor and say, man, I need a little help. I want to be confident. I want to know what to do and how to use the tools to do that. But anyway, what's great about a one-on-one, you can do it in a hotel lobby, you can do it in a coffee shop, a restaurant, you can do it on a picnic table in a park. I've actually given presentations on a picnic table in a park near my house when it was nice weather out. You can show a movie, you can do a PowerPoint, you can use your cell phone with the Tagachi app, you can use a laptop, or a flip chart. A flip chart? Now you heard Rick say that I was old school. And I am. Matter of fact, a lot of people refer to me as a baby boomer. Jan and I are not baby boomers. I don't know, Bernie, I don't think you're a baby boomer either. We're what Tom Brokaw. You a baby boomer? Born between 1945 and 1946 or 64?
I'm a pre-baby boomer.
Okay, then that's Tom. I love it. Tom Brokaw said that's the greatest generation. So we're members of the greatest generation. There's a book written about the baby boomers and how they drove, starting in 1946. After us guys were born, but starting in 1946, and how that big burst of population growth was like, the book was called The Pig and the Python. And that pig was like, the python swallows the pig, you see the pig going through the whole python as it goes down and starts digesting as it's going on its way through. But the book Pig and the Python talked about the baby boom generation and how it drove everything from baby food to baby clothing to, as they got older, to larger school systems, and how it drove the Nikes and Adidas and all the running and track shoes and in the gyms, and now it's going into, now they're driving geriatric supplies. But the baby, and now the whole focus is on the millennials. You gotta go get the millennials, go get the millennials. Well, I wanna tell you something, guys. Is 74 million baby boomers still alive? and it's still in that pig. This pig's still in the python. So now we've got the millennials, and about a year ago they equaled the same number, and everybody's focusing on the millennials. But you know what? There's 2 pigs in the python right now. We still got the millennials coming in, but we got the baby boomers still in there. So don't neglect them. And some of them may not have a smartphone, may not be that, and they're a great market because they got the spendable income. They're realizing they're going to live longer than their retirement will. And baby boomers, which have said no to you 10 years ago, they're waking up right now. Those baby boomers are waking up, and they're saying, you know what? I better start doing something to be healthier. Now, I just found out my premium is going to double. I just found out my deductible went from $1,000 to $2,000. I better start staying healthy. And so there's an awareness out there about health and longevity that you've never seen before. Now, so let's talk about the one-on-one. Again, you can do that anywhere. You can do it at home, you can do it in a restaurant, any place you have a chance to sit down with someone and do that one-on-one presentation. And again, have a flip chart. What's a flip chart? Take Eddie's presentation and print it out. You can put it in little page saver pages, carry a notebook, and if you've got the box to carry with you now. But you want to be able to make a presentation if someone is not computer literate. So always ask them first, and then show it to them in a manner that they can duplicate. We're going to get that in a minute. But anyway, always have the starter kit, that little box that we just introduced to you. You should always have one of those, and you should also have one to send them home with. We call that rotating inventory. That rotating inventory is what lets that distributor go home that night. Now, you don't want to say, all right, well, hey, thanks for signing up, goodbye, good luck, see you later. Your product will be there in 5 days. No, you want to give them that box and send them home with that box that night. Say, listen, when yours arrives, I'll swing by and pick it up from you. Or drop ship it back to me, whatever, geographically most convenient. And so you want to send them home. You want to wake up in the morning and drink a cup of sumo. You want them later that afternoon, have a squirt of the Zilla. You want them to be using our products on that morning when they wake up, not 5 days later. Come on, send them home. Have that rotating inventory. You should even have a few of the starter packs and there as well. The next thing, the power of the 3-way phone call. Eddie talks about that. I mean, that's how we started Eddie's business. That's how we launched it, with 3-way phone calls. And again, we just talked till we were hoarse. But you want to introduce them to your enroller, or who's going to be somebody in your upline via a 3-way phone call. Now, this is a cardinal principle. If you're new, you want to do it to help them close your prospect. Now, if you're an old seasoned networker like Eddie was, you'll still do it for them to help you close your prospect. Eddie didn't do a 3-way with me because he needed to. After the first 2-3 phone calls, he had the story. I'm sure he could have done the whole rest of it. He did it to show the example. He did it so that everybody would do what they saw him do. They saw him do a 3-way with me, so they went to their prospects, did a 3-way with him. He was setting the right example by showing them what to do. And so that's why Eddie's been so successful. So do the 3-way. It lets your prospects see the support they have as well, and it keeps you duplicable. Well, in a sense, you're actually doing on-the-job training. I know it's not a job, but it's kind of like on-the-job training when you're doing that with them. Because when they see you call your upline, they'll know they'll have that same kind of help as well. Now, if you're not online, always have a printout of a paper application. Sometimes you're not online, sometimes you're not where you get to a laptop or a computer, you've met somebody, you're traveling on vacation, you want to be able to whip out that paper application, fill it in, and then when you get back to where you can get online or get on a laptop, you can sign them up then. So always have a paper application ready to bring them into the business. Now, 2-on-1. 2-on-1 is the power of building this business. It's kind of like the backbone of this business. I mean, it's the most powerful way. I think it's kind of biblical. How many of each animal did Moses bring on the ark? 2. How many of each animal did Moses bring on the ark?
2.
He didn't bring on any.
No.
Noah. I said you got to pay attention to you got to pay attention to the small. See, I know it's late, and we've had a big lunch, and maybe we didn't get you Zilla this afternoon. But no, Noah that brought on 2 by 2. But you also want to pay attention to your prospect. Because they're going to show you how to close them by the feedback you get from them. So learn to pay attention. It wasn't Noah. But anyway. 2, that's when you and your sponsor go visit your prospect and show the plan to them. And that's when Eddie says, I can shut up, let my sponsor do all the work. So when it's all over, what does the distributor say? Well, I don't know if I can do what that guy did, but I can sure do what Eddie did. And that's what you want to do. You want to be, you want to become duplicable. Well, the two-on-one presentation is the backbone of our business. And what's beautiful about it, you can do it anytime, anywhere. Your home, their home, hotel lobbies, picnic tables, coffee, anywhere. Once you know how to do it. Nick talked about having that competence to give you that confidence. Once you learn how to do that, you're unleashed. Again, you can use the Tagachi app, your laptop, preservation book, the old farts in the greater generation that don't have computer literate. Well, it's amazing, some of them are getting computer literate these days. Well, anyway. The two-on-one presentation, you do that to help your customer get their first 4 distributors, and you always want to get them started with a good starter pack. It also helps them get their customers as well, because the ones that don't become distributors will become customers, and you earn very generously on those customers. We're getting ready to make it even more generous for you. So the incentive to get customers is just absolutely amazing. Multiplication is when you give, this is the mathematics of the business, multiplication is when you give one presentation, but several people see it all at the same time. In fact, you multiplied your efforts. Now, duplication is when people, they're building their business, are doing it without you there. And this is, now everybody says, how do you put 68,000 people in 6 months and do $10 million? How do you do $1 million your first month? How do you do a $50,000 check your second month of it? How do you do that? Duplication. This, what I'm about to share with you right now, is the secret to massive, massive growth in your business. And that's the duplication process. So everybody, wake up, listen in, and hang on to every word right here, because that means that right now, this guy is giving a meeting to 4 people. He's multiplying, but who's not in that picture? You're not there. That's somebody in your downline that's multiplying, which means you've duplicated. You're out doing a meeting somewhere else, or maybe you're down at the beach or somewhere. Maybe you're off with your family or on a vacation or a cruise, but those things are going on in your organization because the presence is taking place in your group, and you are not even there. That's true duplication. True duplication right there. Well, it's all about teaching and training. That's what this weekend's been. We said, let's not just be all warm and fuzzy and rah, rah, rah. Let's get some real teaching and training done so you can go home with some tools and some training and some teaching and know-how that you can go out and start building your business. Well, you want to teach them how to log into their back office. Show them how to set up and change their monthly automatic delivery. You really want to do that, folks. A lot of times we say, the people never checked in. Well, have you taught them how to? Maybe the reason they're not doing it is you haven't taught them how to do it yet. Train them how to enroll a new distributor, how to place them in their dual team, where to place them, how to place them. Talk to your upline if you need some ideas on that or some, a system to follow with that. And then show them how to download the Tagachi app. That's the greatest tool that's ever come out since sliced white bread. Matter of fact, sliced white bread came out in the last 100 and some odd years, but it wasn't 108 years. 108 years ago, the Cubs won the World Series, and that was before sliced white bread. Edison was even alive. And so, the fact that the Cubs just won the World Series, that's the greatest thing that happened since sliced white bread. Teach them how to place a spot order, teach them how to submit a desk ticket, and teach them how to call customer service. Maybe you can do a 3-way. Call customer service to show them how easy it is. So if they got a question, they can't get a hold of you, they can call someone that can help them. But it's all teaching and training. If you're enrolling at a distance, maybe you're here and they're in California, get on the telephone, walk them through that process. I'll tell you why you want to do that. Because a lot of people, you give them all the information and everything else. They say, well, you know what? A couple days go by, I guess I'll get in. I'll only go xu.com, and somebody else's site pops up. They go, oh, okay, and they sign up, and they do the whole thing, and they're signing up on Tom Jones's website. And they say, well, I signed up. I don't see my downline. Oh, well, I just logged into XU's, and something popped up, and I signed up on it. You want to be on the phone when they enroll, so you make sure they're going into your downline there. All right, set up a conference line. And this is a big part of duplication. I did conference calling before they invented conference calling. And that's another story. But you can leverage your time when you have a conference line. Because when you've got a conference line, you can go right to freeconferencecall.com. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. That's why they call it free conference call. Anyway, it's free. and people would call me up and have a question. Let's say Jim's calling me up and says, hey, listen, Jim here. Paul, I got a question I want to ask. I said, Jim, I'm on the other line. Can you call me back? I tell you what, call me at the top of the hour. And by the way, when you call me back, call your top 2 or 3 distributors and daisy chain them on with me. I tell you what, just call my conference line and I'll answer the question in 3. So now, I said, what was the question, by the way? He said, well, I want to know when I'm recruiting somebody, where do I put on the left, where do I put on the right, whatever. I said, okay, call me back at 3, get 2 or 3 of your leaders on at the same time so you don't have to hang up and call them. So he calls back at 3 o'clock or whatever the top of the hour is. And I said, okay, Jim, listen, the answer to that question is, who we got on the line now? Okay, we got Bill and Mary and Barbara and Carol. We got 5 or 6 people on the line now. So now I answer the question once, but I'm giving the answer to 5 or 6 people. That's multiplying your time. And teaching him how to do it means that he'll do this thing week, and I'll be duplicating myself by teaching him how to do it. So have your own conference. Set up a Skype account for people at a distance. There's nothing like, yeah, you get on the phone and talk, but there's nothing like seeing somebody. When you see the twinkle in their eye, they've done studies that 80% of all communication is non-verbal. That means 80% of what I'm communicating to you right now is not the audio. It's me. It's the twinkle in my eye. It's my action. It's my movements. That's what gets the message across. Particularly the subliminal message, the powerful undertones of what's being said is all non-verbal. So get on. So you want to get onto a Skype account so you can be looking at them and they can be looking at you, and you can be talking to people in Hong Kong, Singapore. I do calls all over the world on Skype, and it's great and it's free as long as you're calling from one computer to another computer. Well, anyway, it can be in many places all at the same time. But the principle of what I'm teaching today is based on an old expression you've heard. I modified it many years ago. I believe I'm the creator of it. I didn't hear it until I came up with it. But anyway, the principle of welfare is give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Now, if you give a guy a fish, he goes home and cooks it, he ate for one day. Well, you know the second part of that. That man was given a fish. And you know what? He ate for a day. But duplication is to teach him how to fish and he eats for a lifetime. How many have ever heard that? It's a principle. As old as the ages of time. All right. But here's what I added to it about 40-some odd years ago. Again, those guys were taught how to fish. And if you know how to fish, they can eat for a lifetime. You've done them a favor by teaching them how to fish. But, this guy can catch a fish every day and feed his family, and he's going to be great. Well, your distributors should know how to give presentations every day. If your distributor doesn't know how to give a presentation, you never taught them how to fish. If you've got people in your downline that don't know how to give a presentation, you didn't teach them how to. You gave them a fish. You didn't teach them how to fish. You got to teach them how to fish. Well, anyway, if you taught your distributors how to recruit, that's fishing. You get this business. You got to teach them how to recruit so they can go out and start bringing. You help them bring in the first 3 or 4. They're out bringing all the rest of them now. And again, there's no limit there. But the principle of duplication that'll set you free, and this is the most important part of that. Probably some of you have never heard that. That's been over my seminar. But anyway, if you teach them how to teach others how to teach others how to fish, we can feed the world. And so what you see here is this guy is teaching others how to teach others how to fish. So maybe you've given people fish, maybe you've taught them how to fish, but if you taught them how to teach others how to fish, when you do that, you've liberated yourself. When you do that, you've got pure duplication going in your organization. When you get that going on, your organization will explode. When you see the difference, you've gone from feeding one person a day to feeding one person for a lifetime, and a little more teaching and training. We went from one person for a lifetime to the ability to feed the world forever. Forever, by teaching them how to be independent and sustainable on their own. And that's the exact same information, but what made the difference? It was how we taught and what we trained to do with what they learned. We taught them how to do what we were doing. We created that duplication. Well, anyway, they were taught how to teach others. True duplication is there's nothing more important than that. Because when they know how to do meetings without you present, you've created that duplication. So keep it simple. It's got to be simple. You've got to be so simple that when they look at it, whatever you say or do, they're going to say, "Oh, dude, that was simple. I can do that." If they can say that, you've duplicated yourself. You've created something that's duplicatable. Correct English is duplicable. But anyway, I can send a text. I can show a video on my smartphone or my laptop, the Gotcha app. I can show a PowerPoint that Eddie shows at the meetings, in my meeting. I can do all that. I can tell my story. When they can look and see what you do, you're duplicable. Anyway, we're going to close with a little book that was influenced my life years ago. It's called How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success. It's by Frank Petrie. But he was an insurance salesman, ready to quit, a total abject failure. Stopped by the office. He's walking by the door, getting ready to turn his materials in. And he hears the boss say, "Gentlemen, after all, this business of selling narrowed down to just one thing. Just one thing. Seeing the people." Frank stopped. He backed up. He listened a little bit more. He says, "Show me any man of ordinary ability who will go out and earnestly tell his story to 4 or 5 people every day, and I'll show you a man who just can't help making good." Well, I've modernized it for the modern, excuse distributor, network marketer today. And that's simply, show me a person of ordinary ability who will simply do 4 or 5 one-on-one presentations, either with the Gotcha app, PowerPoint, laptop, flip chart, whatever. I'll show you a person who's on their way to becoming an XU diamond and will soon be earning more money than they'll be able to spend by just seeing the people, giving one-on-one presentations. That's why you got to learn how to do it, and why you got to teach other people how to do it as quickly as possible. And freeze. I think there's 1 or 2 left here. Okay. Now you know the secret. The secret to massive duplication is being duplicable. If they can do it, so can I. They got to be able to say that. Keep it simple. Use the tools. Doing one-on-one presentations, doing two-on-ones with your new distributors, doing group meetings, and teaching others how to do the same thing without you there. When you do all that, you put it all into action, you'll have massive duplication. I just want to close with this, because each one of us here has been given tools this weekend. And I've gone to a very early Amway meeting, and the gentleman shared this, and it just struck me so much. I memorized it that day, wrote it on a piece of paper and memorized it, and sharing it around the world. And it goes like this. A little bit of a poem, actually. But isn't it strange that princes and kings and clowns that caper in sawdust rings and common folk like you and me are builders for eternity? Each one of us is given a book of rules, a shapeless mass, and a bag of tools. That's what we got this weekend, a bag of tools. Then each one shapes ere life has flown, a stumbling block or a stepping stone. What are you going to do with the tools we gave you this weekend? My hopes and prayers, we all go out and build stepping stones that millions of others can follow as XFuse changes their lives and makes their dreams come true. Love you all. Thanks for coming out.